Imagine a world where priests gave bizarre bedroom advice, where bizarre punishments awaited those who broke holy laws of the flesh, and where strange rituals were practiced under the cover of darkness. Welcome to the Middle Ages. But here's the question, were the people of the medieval era as pure as history books want us to believe? Today we'll uncover some of the most bizarre, shocking, and downright strange sexual practices from the medieval world. Trust me, you won't look at the Middle Ages the same way again. And hey, before we dive in, if you love strange history and hidden truths, make sure you subscribe right now, because the story you're about to hear is wilder than you can imagine. In medieval Europe, the church ruled everything, including the bedroom. Believe it or not, there were official rules about when and how people could have sex. For example, it was forbidden on Sundays, forbidden during Lent, forbidden during Advent, and even forbidden on certain feast days. In fact, according to some medieval manuals, out of 365 days in a year, almost half the calendar was banned for intimacy. And here's the strangest part. Priests kept detailed lists of what positions were acceptable. Missionary was considered holy, while others were considered sinful, even punishable by penance. Now imagine being a medieval couple, sneaking around constantly worried that the church and even your neighbors might catch you. Desire wasn't private, it was watched, judged, and controlled. Sex wasn't just a matter of sin, it was also medicine. Medieval doctors believed that an active sex life could balance the humors of the body. But here's where it gets bizarre. Some physicians actually prescribed strange potions to increase passion. One medieval recipe advised grinding up roasted wolf genitals and mixing it into wine as an aphrodisiac. Others swore that wearing amulets made from certain animal parts could boost fertility, and while this might sound ridiculous today, in their world, magic, medicine, and desire were deeply connected. So, would you drink wolf potion for love? Let me know in the comments. But what happened if you broke the rules? The consequences could be terrifying. For example, adultery wasn't just frowned upon. It could lead to public humiliation or brutal punishments. In some towns, women caught in affairs were paraded through the streets with their heads shaved, while men were whipped or fined heavily. And here's one of the darkest practices. In certain places, those accused of unnatural acts were subjected to cruel trials, sometimes even burned alive. This fear created a culture where desire existed in secret, hidden behind closed doors, while on the surface society pretended to be holy and pure. But behind monastery walls, things were very different. Monasteries were supposed to be places of prayer and purity, but history tells another story. There are records of priests fathering children, monks secretly meeting lovers, and even entire convents accused of hosting wild, forbidden rituals. In one infamous case, a 15th-century abbess was caught keeping a secret lover in her private chambers. Chronicles describe scandals where clergy broke their vows of celibacy, yet the church often buried these stories to protect its image. The medieval world may have preached purity, but behind closed doors, temptation was everywhere. And then, there were the festivals. For most of the year, society was strict and controlled, but during certain celebrations, the rules disappeared. Take the Feast of Fools, for example. On this day, peasants mocked priests, paraded through towns in costumes, and sometimes indulged in wild, drunken games, which often turned into something much more scandalous. Carnival season, too, was notorious. With masks hiding their faces, people crossed social boundaries and gave in to desires they'd never dare admit in daylight. It was as if, for a brief moment, the medieval world could escape its own rules. So were medieval people really more innocent than us? Far from it. Their world was full of bizarre rules, secret scandals, and hidden desires. And here is the real twist. Many of the strange practices from the Middle Ages still echo in our culture today. Want to know which ones? That's a story for another video. If you enjoyed uncovering these forbidden secrets, make sure to hit subscribe and turn on the bell icon. Because next time, we're diving even deeper into history's strangest mysteries. Until then, remember, history isn't as pure as it looks in the textbooks.